Everyone, my name is Ashton Fritz, and today I'll be presenting Joseph Stalin versus Captain America, an analysis of the cult of personality and government manipulation. 41 million. Between Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin, over 41 million people were killed. But yet, both of these men were nominated for Nobel Peace Prizes in their lifetime. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How could two of the world's most infamous dictators who committed horrible atrocities be nominated for Nobel Peace Prizes? I was thinking that too, which leads me to my research question. How was the cult of personality used by governments to manipulate citizens, and is it still used in American society today? The cult of personality is a sociological theory created by Max Weber that aims to explain how a dictator gains and maintains control over his or her followers. Here's what I'm going to do. First, I'll give you some background information on what the cult of personality is. Next, I'm going to walk you through the cult of personality attached to Captain America using a contextual analysis of the 2011 film Captain America: The First Avenger. After that, I'll show you how the cult of personality was implemented in the arts using a textual analysis of World War II propaganda from both America and the Soviet Union. Finally, I'll take you through my analysis and conclusions, followed by my work cited and image citations. Max Weber's theory has two parts: charismatic authority and the cult of personality. Charismatic authority is when power is legitimized through personality. This type of personality, according to Weber, is insightful, charming, sociable, but also demands strict loyalty and obedience from followers. Some examples would be Stalin, Hitler, Ronald Reagan, and later, Captain America. Next, the cult of personality is when an individual uses the media to create an idealized, heroic image of themselves to the public. The cult is used to promote a leader's goals, add legitimization of the leader's power, and help maintain control of the people. So now I'm going to walk you through establishing the cult of personality on Captain America. For those of you who have not seen the 2011 film, or are very avid and loyal Marvel fans, you may not want to watch the rest of this video. You have been warned. The 2011 film is the backstory of Steve Rogers, a man who goes on to become the superhero Captain America. And there are three scenes that I will analyze that show the cult of personality around the character. First, for the cult of personality to be formed, Captain America has to be both relatable and a hero in society's eyes. This scene that I'm about to analyze, called the grenade scene, shows this. In this scene, there is an argument about who will receive the super serum. Either Gilmore Hodge, seen here, or Steve Rogers. Hodge is seen as a typical soldier, big, fast, strong, follows orders, while Rogers is seen as a weak, pitied underdog that's not the ideal candidate. The colonel of the unit favors Hodges because he's big, fast, and strong, while the doctor who created the serum favors Rogers. The doctor explains that Hodge is a bully, and the colonel goes on to say that you cannot win wars with niceness, you win them with guts. Then, the colonel throws a dummy grenade into the camp. Steve Rogers is then seen throwing himself on top of this grenade to protect everyone without knowing that it's a dummy grenade, as seen here. As Rogers selflessly throws himself on the dummy grenade to save everyone at the camp, even though it's seen earlier in the film that the other men do not care for him, he wins over anyone who doubts that he is not the candidate, and then is selected to receive the super serum. According to Shaw and Hammer, people relate to underdogs because we want to see them come out on top. Therefore, we relate to Captain America because he shows these real human qualities, and he's an underdog. Now that we start to relate to him, we can then start to adore these qualities in Captain America as we see them later in the film as they're shown as more powerful and heroic. Now that we're relating to and starting to adore Captain America, the second thing that needs to happen to establish the cult of personality is that Captain America needs to be seen as a charismatic leader. And the movie provides this through battle sequences. Battle sequences serve basically three purposes. They emphasize Captain America's power and authority, they establish him as a charismatic leader, and they show the might of the might and power of the USA. It also shows Steve Rogers as a leader who's able to direct and push a team to accomplish the goals of his goals, which also happen to be America's goals. Because superheroes are a reflection of the nation they serve. According to Brzezinski, Captain America is the ultimate symbol of America and American idealism. Since the captain is a representation of American idealism, he belongs to the ideological camp that America is the greatest nation. Placing superheroes in an ideological camp gives them more credibility and allows them to parallel reality. Now, the cult of personality has been established. He's relatable, and we adore him, and he's a charismatic leader. Because this has established the cult, we can now see the second part of the cult of personality, government manipulation. Earlier, I spoke about how superheroes are tied to the nation they serve. Captain America is no different. The battle sequences are just the first level of government manipulation. In this film, and in the arts, which we'll see later, government manipulation gets blatantly more obvious, as I'm about to show you. In this scene, Steve Rogers has just received the super serum, but the army doesn't really know what to do with him. So, Senator Brandt uses him to buy war bonds. He dresses him up in his iconic red, white, and blue uniform and names him Captain America, the Star-Spangled Man with a plan. We then see Rogers going from city to city, doing a song and dance routine in an effort to get people to buy war bonds. This, according to Jason Demeter, shows government manipulation. Captain America embodies the nation to the readers, and in this case, because I'm using a film, the audience. Captain America is the invisible bridge of the audience to the nation. He's that connection point. Also, Captain America is the ideal patriot, therefore, if we as citizens want to be patriots, we should be and do what Captain America does. Thus, using Captain America in this way, in the film in this way, is just one of the ways the government uses their connection to him to get us as citizens to do something for them. The 2011 film is not the first time the government has used Captain America's cult of personality against the citizens. They've been doing it since he was created in 1941. Now I'm going to show you Max Weber's theory applied to propaganda. I've used Stalin as a basis of comparison because he is not a fictional character, and also because he fits into Max Weber's first part of his theory, the charismatic authority. This poster was used to promote the Soviet Union's military might in 1949. However, it has been manipulated to glorify Stalin in three ways: lines, proportion, and color. The buildings and flags of his nation are decorated in patriotic colors. The flags form lines that point forwards towards what Stalin believes is his goal, or what the audience believes is Stalin's goal. All the people in tanks are charging forward to do his bidding, but you can't even see the people at all. Like, they're just a blurry mass. The airplanes form a subtle diagonal line that points towards Stalin's head and then forward towards his goals. Stalin himself is the focus of this poster, not the military strength if you look at it closely. He stands taller than anything in this poster, and he has a calm stance and body position, implying that he's not really worried about anything because his people are going to do what they want him to do. Stalin uses this poster as a subtle reminder to his people of how powerful he is. Pekchov states that Stalin used propaganda as a form of ideological indoctrination and relied on the isolation of the Soviet people from the rest of the world to maintain control. A second example is seen here. This poster's intended purpose wasn't to promote anything other than Stalin. This poster shows a celebration with lots of people around cheering for their benevolent leader Stalin. This poster associates the worship of Stalin with being patriotic through the use of color and proportion. This poster is filled with patriotic colors, littered with white, red, and gold. The flags and decorations of the nearby buildings are all red, white, and gold. Stalin himself is even seen wearing the patriotic colors, thus associating himself with patriotism. There are also pictures of him and other communist leaders in the background of the parade in red and gold picture frames. Once again, Stalin is the tallest figure, scaled even taller than the buildings behind him, indicating that he is the main focus of the poster. You can also see all the citizens' smiling faces as the caption reads, "Beloved Stalin, the people's happiness." And the intended purpose of this poster was not subtle at all. According to Brandenburg, Stalin used propaganda not only to associate and celebrate individual heroes, namely himself, but also to fashion Soviet patriotism through providing a charismatic leader that presides over a developing but divided society threatened by internal and external enemies. Essentially, Stalin killed two birds with one stone. He made himself the hero, aka charismatic leader, then tied himself, like Captain America, to being an ideal patriot. Now we're going to see Captain America in the arms. Here is an enlistment poster used by America to promote the war. This poster intends to persuade the American people to either enlist or buy war bonds. However, in actuality, the American government is using the poster to promote its own power and dominance in three ways. The poster is riddled with patriotic symbolism, colors and patterns, the colors and patterns associated with Captain America, and finally, proportion. The words Captain America are written in bold red letters. There are also blue and white stars seen all over the poster. Then there's Captain America's uniform itself, the patriotic red, white, and blue striped uniform with the giant A for America and the white star on his chest, not to mention his red, white, and blue shield. Next, Captain America himself is bigger than his fellow soldiers and stands confidently as he looks at the battle. Not even carrying a gun. Pretty confident. According to DuBose, Captain America's very identity is tied to and inseparable from that of the government, and because of this, Captain America is placed under the government's service, and only does what the current political regime orders him to. This is not technically a propaganda poster, however, I think it is a perfect representation of American World War II American propaganda and government manipulation. This is the cover from the first ever Captain America comic book released in 1941. This cover is used to promote the American goal of winning the war. This cover art does this through the use of lines, color, patriotic symbols, and proportion. It is literally a depiction of Captain America, who we know by now as a pseudonym for the American government, knocking Adolf Hitler out, which of course was America's goal in World War I, during World War II, defeat the Germans. At the top of the cover is red, white, and blue stripes with white stars. Captain America, who is also bigger than anyone else, is again seen in his red, white, and blue uniform. One of the German soldiers fires his gun at Captain America, but the bullets bounce off the shield, forming lines that draw your eyes to a caption reading, "Smashing through, Captain America came face to face with Hitler." Jason DeMitter says that Captain America is an encroachment of national symbols into everyday life, making them appear natural, which helps legitimize the power of the state. Now we have established that both Stalin and Captain America fit Max Weber's theory. They both are charismatic leaders with powerful cults of personality. However, Stalin uses his to directly manipulate his people, while the American government makes use of Captain America's cult to indirectly manipulate us. Also, the American government has tied itself to Captain America. This means that he works for the government, and that the government uses his cult of personality to manipulate us as citizens. Finally, in conclusion, American society is bombarded with advertisements, all trying to persuade people how to behave in a specific manner or give money to specific causes. Therefore, citizens must be aware of how they are being manipulated because manipulation comes from many sources. Big businesses, government, and advertisers, all trying to push us as American citizens to act in a certain way. Thank you. Here is my works cited and my image citations.